Only 7 races remain to decide a one-up Nitro National Series champion for 2025, and the field of contenders has been narrowed down to only 12. It's the start of the playoffs for the Nitro National Series, and we begin it here at Chicagoland Speedway for 67 laps around this beautiful mile-and-a-half oval in Joliet, Illinois, with James Ellison alongside me in the booth to bring you all the action for today's race. What a better place to start. What a place to start the playoffs right here at Chicagoland. Excellent racing over the years, and I would expect tonight to be no different.
Oh, absolutely. This is a great track, and obviously the fan bases have their say on what this track's like, but the racing is usually really good, which that always draws a crowd, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out.
It is going to be fun to watch, especially when you consider so many of our playoff drivers start near the front of the field. They all qualified in the top 20, the lowest of which being in 18th for the start of this race. As we can give you a quick look at those points, they were reset after last weekend's race at Daytona, and now all 12 of our contenders are within 25 points of the regular season champion Jake McMillen for the start of the playoffs. But that is not a safe lead for him, because if he has a bad day today, either of his own making or getting caught in someone else's mess, he can easily tumble to 10 for worse in the points today.
Yeah, that's something you don't want when you're doing just like what McMillen's done. He has had a great season. He wants this championship, and he wants it bad before he moves back up to Superstar. It's on his bucket list. I mean, he's already done the triple, won in all 3 divisions, top 3 divisions. It's the last thing he wants, and he cannot falter here.
It's going to be fun to watch to see him climb his way up from a 12th starting position here tonight. As we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's 67 laps of action. Both the Game Breaker Racing Toyotas on the front row to lock it out for the start of this race. Aiden Clare, after that barrel roll at Daytona, just missed the playoffs in doing so. He's got his teammate Nagatsuka Kanauka alongside in second spot. The highest of the playoff drivers to start this race, ironically enough, is the 86 of Cameron Brennan, and he says he does not like oval racing. He much prefers the road courses, but this is his best career start on an oval. Could he surprise us here tonight?
Oh, he absolutely could. I mean, you look at Daytona last year. He said he hates ovals, but yet the great equalizer that Daytona is gave him that victory. And now I think he's starting to pick up a little bit on this oval stuff, despite his hatred for it. But we'll have to wait and see. And looking at some of the other playoff contenders who managed to just get in, like Eric DeMax, that's really interesting to see how this is going to play out, especially when you look at all the contenders that they're going to have to hold back behind him, like McMillen, as was mentioned earlier.
So will it be a playoff driver starting their postseason with a victory tonight, or will it be a spoiler, a non-playoff driver getting the job done? We're going to find out in just a short while, so stay tuned for that. It's the one-up Nitro National Series playoff opener from Chicagoland Speedway, and the green flag getting set to get this great race underway, so stay tuned for all the action set to unfold here tonight. Getting set to start the playoffs here in the Nitro National Series at Chicagoland. Clare and Kanauka lead us to the green flag. It's in the air. We're racing already. And look at that. David Meskey from 4th spot already took a peek to the outside, but Kanauka shut the door on him. The field barrels off into turn 1 with Clare holding a sizable lead.
And look at that 86 already trying to steal second away from Kanauka with DeMax right behind him. And AJ Zhao, somebody who's had an up-and-down season. Had some wins, but he's had some tough times as well mixed in there. But he was able to smoothly make it in despite what the different things that happened at Daytona.
How about Benjamin Snyder we saw up in the very top of the racetrack in that 82? He'll be in that car for the remainder of this season, but Clare leads the opening lap ahead of teammate Kanauka, who slides back into second place. We've seen this outside line be very powerful here at Chicagoland over the years. I would expect it to be exactly like it here today. As look at this, we got 4 wide through to 3 and 4 for who knows what position.
Well, a number of different positions, but the big losers there, from what I could tell, were Lucian and Brandon Smith. But they have some time to rebound because you saw Jensen Nomina. He just barely squeaked in, giving Spa both their drivers in the field for the playoffs. But that they're not safe by any stretch. I mean, obviously, as you can see, Brennan there didn't really get second from Kanaka.
No, and he's been passed by Meske as well, starting to get swallowed up, rather, by the likes of Eric DeMax, Mac Johnson, etc. But right now, it continues to be a game-breaker racing race as it stands right now. 1-2 for the team, fielded by Emma Kruger, and let's see if David Meske can now give it a shot to try and dethrone them.
Well, I don't know. It might be a battle of the game-breaker teammates here. Kanaka wants to have a chance to lead. His season has not been the greatest. I mean, Claire's hasn't been the greatest either. Obviously, we talked about his aforementioned woes at Daytona causing him to miss the playoffs, but this could be it, although I think Meske has something to say now.
As does Mac Johnson. He powers around the outside of Meske to move up into the third position. So, and he's put himself right in the mix of things here. He gets underneath both the game breaker cars at once. He could be going 3 wide here for the race lead.
He is, and right now it looks like Kanaka might be the gainer, although being in the middle is not exactly the best thing. I think Johnson backing out of it, but man, that you know Johnson's one to take advantage of McMillen being back further to try to capitalize on a chance to steal the early lead in the playoffs.
You say further back, he's still in the top 10 in 9th place, but I get what you're saying. Everybody wants to get this, just draw first blood here in this race. They're 4 wide out of the corner. Nomina, Johnson, Meske, and Brennan.
To the outside.
They all sorted out. It's incredible how this racing is unfolded here at Chicagoland, and we're only completed 6 laps of this race. We're on lap 7 now, but it's been Aiden Clare who's led them all so far from pole position.
And I mentioned Nomina on the outside. Here he goes inside to Max now, or trying to. For just squeaking in, I think that lit a fire under him, because even though he's not returning to Spa, he's going to get everything he's got these final races with him.
Because he's going up to Superstar next year. This is his last chance to win that Nitro Championship. He's going to do everything he can to get it. As Benjamin Snyder tries to make his way around the outside of Kanaka. For second place, we got a caution for a big crash farther back in the pack, and it involves one of our playoff contenders, Braden Varga, car number 9. You see Mike Edwards involved, Anthony McClure, Justin Henley, Tegan Fox all involved. It's going to be a race back to the yellow flag, which Aiden Clare will just hold off Benjamin Snyder for.
Yeah, that was... we got so caught up in what was happening there, it took us noticing the caution lights to realize something was going on. That's unfortunate for all involved there.
Unfortunate indeed. We're under our first caution of the night here on lap number 9. And I would not be surprised one bit to see these guys, everybody come down pit road here for some, at least 2 fresh tires and a tank of fuel. I'm not sure they'll need 4 quite yet, but they'll take fresh tires at every opportunity that becomes available to them. See these guys in the pits for repairs, but I would expect the entire rest of the field to come down here, and sure enough, that's exactly, yep, they're all headed down there.
Yeah, like you said, fresh tires, though that was making for some good racing there. Those tires had only seen a little bit of action on warm-up, which that doesn't do a whole lot of wear and tear. The real racing action we saw, even for as short a time as it was, ooh, buddy, that was really good.
And I would expect to see more of that as this race progresses here. But for now, everybody pulls in to receive the attention of their crews to get at least 2 fresh tires. I keep saying 4 out of habit, but I would be surprised if a lot of people didn't just take 2 here. Well, DeMax is taking 4 further back, but a lot of the guys, Meske's taking 4 as well.
McMillen looks to be taking 4 or 2.
Yeah, and it looks like everybody that's already on their way out of the pits took 2 tires. So a bit of a mixed strategy here to start this one. We're going to have at least one more pit stop after this, as we're going to get you a replay here in a moment of what unfolded to put us under this first caution of the day. So we're looking at KJ Hayes here. Is this where it starts? No, it starts up ahead of him. Terzic and Varga get together, and then Tegan Fox piles in. Mike Edwards sends Varga around again. We're going to have to get another look at that because I think the 10 and the 9 had some kind of coming together ahead of where we picked it up.
Yeah, that's going to be, yeah, like I said, a new look is going to be needed here. That's a tough one to follow right there.
But it is still a very tough break for everybody involved in this accident because now they're going to be behind the 8 ball very early on here. So this is where Terzic was running. He was actually just inside the top 10 as it stood. Alongside, when he was slowing, I think he had a tire going down and Varga couldn't slow down in time, nor could Tegan Fox, and they all start piling in one after the other. That's what happens when you have a big issue like that in front of the entire field. You just have nowhere to go when they start stacking up ahead of you.
And talked about KJ Hayes, he got lucky. That's all I'll say. He got lucky on that one because he was right there. All it would take would have been just a split-second difference, and he could have been caught up in it, but he wasn't, and he'll be able to continue on. Not everybody's going to be able to continue on, at least not at full pace.
Nope, but we'll hopefully get the 1-to-go signal next time they cross the start-finish line, so as we're under caution for the first time in this race. The Game Breaker cars have found their way back to the front, running 1-2. Ryan Arnold in the 0-1 has snuck his way up into third. He started all the way down in 18th position. Mac Johnson, Jake McMillen rounding at the top 5. Brennan 6th. Nathan Meyer in the 77 car. He started this race down in 19th. He's up into the 7th spot. Benjamin Snyder down to 8th. Noman a 9th. And Alexa Luchon completing your top 10.
And a lot of that we know was tire strategy. We are going to have to see how 2 versus 4 plays out. This is going to be real interesting to watch as we get ready to hopefully take the 1-to-go here, which we should. But all these playoff contenders, they know that the first of their fellow contenders has had trouble, and as the lights go out, we see that they're all getting ready to go here as Henley, heartbreak. Not quite heartbreak, but still a rough go for him, but he'll have a chance to rebound, no doubt.
Well, this is going to be his big test right here, if he can maintain a minimum speed, because if he can't, the officials will be very quick to black flag him for that. So this is his opportunity to prove that he still has enough pace in that car to keep up with everybody, because if he can't, and if he holds up this pack in a big way, they're not going to take too kindly to that.
Yeah, we know how it is. We know how the officials are when it comes to not being able to keep pace. We've seen it time and again. Any vehicle unable to continue on, they get told to park it, and that's not how you want to end the race. Being told to pull in because you're not fast enough.
And it's through no fault of his own. Of course, he got caught up in that wreck, but rules are rules after all. We're going to come take the green flag. Aiden Clare is your race leader. He's led the majority of the race so far, if not all of it. But he's got to fend off the likes of his teammate, Kanauka, and as well as Ryan Arnold, Johnson, McMillen. They're all back there getting ready to get this race restarted at lap number 13.
As they pull out, and the green flag should be in the air, and there it goes. And boy, Henley, yeah, he's already holding up Brennan a little bit here. That's no good.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse from here. Look at this. We got Gutierrez back here, Eric DeMax, AJ Zhao. They're all stacked up behind Justin Henley. The officials, I think what they're going to do is they're going to have to let the whole field pass him, and then they're going to black flag him. But that could take a while, because look at this. AJ Zhao, Jared Schenk way up the racetrack, and he's into the wall for 3 and 4.
Yeah, he was in the wall trying to find a way around, and you see Resendez there. The rookie driver in the Crossroads 11. He finally finds a spot there with Lassard following him.
So we come back to the battle for the lead after Justin Henley has been black flagged for minimum speed. And you see him now pulling in to retire from the race. He'll be our first retirement of the evening. But Aiden Clare has once again reestablished himself into the lead of this race. Kanauka continues to run second, but the likes of Ryan Arnold, Mac Johnson, and Jake McMillen, they're right there waiting for an opportunity to pounce on them.
Absolutely, and of course, at the other end of things, you saw AJ Zhao not. See, there he is right there. He along with so many others there, got caught up behind Resendez, and a few others along with Zhao were caught up. behind Henley, and now he's got a lot of work to do to catch up.
Yeah, Zhou's down in about 37th place now. He's going to have to dig deep to try and salvage a good, decent run out of this race. But he's got a fast car. We know that. It's just going to take a big effort from him to climb his way back to the front. But we see David Meske also got held up a little bit. He's now fallen outside the top 20. But everybody else seems to have at least stayed in that range.
Nomina making moves again.
And it's just Brandon Smith around the outside going to try and pass about 5 cars in the span of 1 corner doing that.
And he did. And meanwhile, Lucian trying to make a move on the 77. She may have lost a spot, but she's going to try to regain it through taking a spot from somebody she had yet to pass.
But meanwhile, at the front of the field, it continues to be Aiden Clare out in front. He's led every lap up to this point. But the likes of Kanauka and everybody else, they're still there waiting for an opportunity. McMillen is right there. Jensen Noman up to the top to try and pass Meyer, and Andrew Langley following him along.
And you got quite the bunch there. You see a nice mix of drivers here. You see DeMax trying to make something happen here again. You see Gutierrez, who just missed the playoffs. You see Jacob Pujols, who's had an up and down season.
And how about Kanauka just took the lead from their teammate Aiden Clare on the previous lap. Aiden Clare's going to get the better of him out of turn 2, retaking the lead.
Yeah, got a strong run on the outside. I think the 00 is best on the high side right now. I think another thing is Kanauka is doing good defense, but you know Ryan Arnold, Mac Johnson, and especially McMillan there, they are not going to stand for him being in there, or for those drivers in the top 2 spots in general being in their way.
And how about Andrew Langley? He just passed the likes of Wyatt O'Quinn and Jensen Noman in the space of 1 corner. He's now powered his way up to the 9th position after starting this race in 11th.
And Lucian's still trying to find something on the bottom, but I don't think that 31's quite as good on the bottom as some people are.
I don't think anybody's as good on the bottom as they are on the top, because that outside line, like I said, has proven to be a very, very effective here at Chicagoland, and here you see it in full effect. Eric DeMax powering past Ryan Reed there to move up a position.
And you see Lucian Nomina trying to find a way by the inside of the 38 and the 31, with DeMax right behind her trying to find something, but even with a little bit of draft, ain't nothing for him there.
But meanwhile, up at the front, the battle continues to heat up. 5 cars under a blanket practically for the lead, and Benjamin Snyder still lurking back there in that 6th position. He's bringing Brandon Smith up with him, Cameron Brennan, Langley's right there.
Here comes Johnson and Arnold on the outside of Kanauka.
3 wide for the lead down the back straightaway, heading off into turn 3. This is going to be... Arnold goes way up the racetrack trying to get a run going. Doesn't quite make it stick, and now Johnson's through to 2nd.
It's not quite clear yet, but I think this is going to be the first time since the restart anybody's had anything for at least one of the game breaker Toyotas here.
Yeah, and right now, I don't think Mac Johnson's through yet. He wants to get that lead from Aiden Clare. And Arnold comes down to make it 3 wide once again. So now it's Clare up to the top of the racetrack to try and defend. Doesn't look like it's going to work here. And Mac Johnson to lead the first lap of the day, not by a game breaker Toyota. Johnson across the line, and he's the first of our playoff drivers to lead tonight.
And that's going to be a valuable point for Johnson. Even if Claire takes the lead back, that point for a lap led is going to be very valuable for that team. I don't want to say huge, because that'd be over exaggerating it, but it might feel huge right now.
You never know how big it could be until the checkered flag flies at Homestead. But look at Benjamin Snyder up to 4th, and he's challenging Mac Johnson, who slipped back to 3rd position. The game breaker cars reassume command at the front of the field. But now look at this. We got 9 cars under a blanket now for the top spot. They're all a second apart from each other. You have Brennan back there, and look, they're bringing more challengers. Noman is back there, DeMax, and here's the 2 JHM Racing teammates, McMillen and Langley, trying to get a run on Ryan Arnold.
Yeah, teamwork is not quite making things happen there, but that doesn't mean it won't in the long run, because we're actually in a longer run than what we got the first 8 laps because we got that early caution, but I do not expect McMillen to stay where he's at.
And keep in mind as well, we still have another pit stop to make if this thing goes green the rest of the way. I would expect that to come around lap 40 to 45 maybe. But right now, we've got an intense battle for third position between 4 cars, Snyder, Johnson, Brennan, and Brandon Smith, along with Ryan Arnold, and the 2 JHM cars just biding their time, lurking back there, waiting for the right moment.
I wouldn't say Brennan's doing much lurking. He's trying to get inside Johnson, who just lost the spot to Snyder, but this is really good racing right here. And don't look now, Nomina and DeMax are back there as well.
And meanwhile, here is AJ Zhao. He's done a decent job making his way through the pack. He's climbed his way up to, I believe, 26th position right now. Yes, there he is, right behind Sam and Oskin in the 43. Not massive progress, but slow, steady gains through the field. That's exactly what he needs to do. Hopefully he can get something good out of this race still.
Yeah, that's all you can do. He's passed several cars that he unfortunately was forced to be passed by with that issue with the 47 earlier, but good news for him is that 47 is parked for the night. He don't have to worry about that anymore as we see more 3-wide action all over the place.
Yeah, and look at that. Eric DeMax actually at the very back of this train has the fastest lap of the race. That's a bonus point for the 16 in his championship push. But I think it's safe to say, after almost half this race has been completed, this is by far the best oval performance we have ever seen out of Cameron Brennan. I know he won at Daytona last year, but that's a wild card race where anything can happen. This is a much more driver-focused racetrack, and he is still running up in the top 5 with everybody else.
And see Snyder and Johnson, they were almost like a 2-car tandem trying to make something happen on Kanalka, but Johnson's decided Snyder's not able to make something happen. He's going to try to, but no, 82's got something to say.
This is a statement race for Benjamin Snyder. He's in this car for the remainder of the season for Venta Motorsport before he goes down to the Truck Series next year. Snyder didn't get a lot of opportunities this year to race, but he made the most out of all of them, and he's definitely making the most out of this one here today, as he is right on the back of Aiden Clare for the race lead, rather, as Andrew Langley making a move around the outside. He's cracked the top 5. He's going for 4th spot on Johnson.
And this is a huge run for Langley. We know he's had an up-down season. And we know he's kind of in a little bit in the shadow of his teammate, but that does not deter him, and it's clearly got him motivated, even though the playoffs are in full swing here. He just passed Kanalka, who's trying to get that spot back, but I feel like this could be a statement night for Langley.
It very well could, and he's going around the outside of Snyder now for 2nd place. This 20 car is on a tear, and if he's stuck up on that high side, this could allow him past the 00 as well. Look at Langley go around the outside. He's going for the lead at the end of lap 32.
And I think, this is going to be the first lap led by someone who could clear that 00. I feel like that could change the dynamic of this race. It was a game breaker controlled race up until just then. And now, let's see what Langley can do now that he's up front.
Well, now that he's up front, he is pulling away by a big margin over Claire. And Kanalka has dropped even further back behind Eric DeMax now for 7th spot. And now they've got Nomina and Brandon Smith right back there. Arnold, McMillen, they're all back there. But Andrew Langley has absolutely checked out on the field. His lead is pretty much stabilized at about 0.3 of a second.
I think 0.3 of a second, he don't care. He's hitting the lead. And then looking back here, you see a nice mixture of cars here. You got playoff contenders that are having not so great runs, but also not terrible runs. Then you got drivers who are just trying to survive the rest of the season and hope that things are better next year.
Yeah, Will Parrish being one of them. Will Parrish in that 17 we were focused on for a while. He is having a great race. He started 29th. He's now up into, I believe, the 13th position as it stands at the moment. Looking back at AJ Zhao, he's gained a couple more places since we last checked in on him. But looking now back towards the front, Snyder's going to try and look under Aiden Clare once again. But man, Andrew Langley has pulled out to a really big lead.
And that's, like I said, that's huge for him because I said statement race. I was thinking top 5. If he could win this thing, I think that there's going to be a huge celebration at JHM tonight if he does it.
We already know he's coming back to JHM for next season. In fact, he's going to be the lone man at JHM next year in the Nitro National Series. But this is going to be a great way to prove that he is worthy of being the #1 driver over there. A great run like this. But he's got to be careful. I see Tegan Fox up there in the distance about to be lapped. So this could be an important part of the race as well.
If Fox isn't exactly as slow as Henley was earlier, or they wouldn't still be on the track, but that could mess with things for Langley a little bit. But talking about being the lone ranger at JHM next year, if he's got a good run like this going late in the season with a 2-car run for that team, imagine what it'll be like when all the resources are pulled into this car.
It's going to be fun to watch, I'm sure. Although McMillen has stated that it would be his owner's points going to the 20 car next year just for a little insurance policy. But regardless, Langley's putting together an incredible race. He started in 11th, and he's already charged to a second's gap. No one else has done that all night long. But Aiden Clare is still doing his best to hang on to second place. Mac Johnson taking a look to the inside, nothing doing there. But they're starting to stack up a bit behind the 00.
I think the 00's tires are getting worn out because, like we mentioned it, 2-tire strategy. I guarantee that the tires that they didn't change, that weren't changed on the 00, are really worn out by now.
Yeah, look, here's McMillen back there in 11th spot. For once, he is not the star of the show at JHM Racing. Bit surprising to say that, but Brennan very much still in the thick of things. He's going to make a move around the outside, possibly of Benjamin Snyder. Johnson's right there. Brendan Smith, powered by all of them, to move up in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, this race has really changed quite a bit. Now we see the 20 up here with the 44, and Fox being wise and letting him pass. But with the cluster of cars back further, when they catch Tegan Fox, this is going to be real interesting. Although, okay, now Langley's clear.
Yeah, Langley doing a great job. He cleared, and now Anthony McClure into the pit lane for what should be his final pit stop of the race. I would expect to see. Oh yeah, we got takers on pit road now. Aiden Clare's one of them. Will Parrish, Alexa Lucian, Gutierrez, and Hayes, as well as Hayes Green and the 23. They're all pulling into pit road for the first round of pit stops.
Now, I did mention that the tires that were not changed on the 00 were probably worn out. They had to have realized that, as now we see Langley and others starting to come in. Tegan Fox coming in despite being just put a lap down. I can imagine this is going to be a big moment for all these drivers.
Meanwhile, Brendan Smith, Jensen Nomina, they stayed out an extra lap trying to pull
Zhao did too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised Zhao stayed out. He's just trying for a little track position here. Vargas stayed out. McMillan stayed out critically. But I would expect all of those cars to be coming into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Here's Brandon Smith. He's gonna have to make a late call to pit road. Oh, he gets a little. He gets hit by Nomina, who's forced to go wide, and he has to stay out another lap. That's gonna be critical for Nomina's race. He was gonna try and pit that time, but Brandon Smith cutting across his nose prevented that from happening.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nomina's gonna have some words with Smith after that, but right now he's just gonna have to regroup and focus on trying to salvage something out of that.
Well, he's definitely coming to pit road this time by, no doubt about it. But there's Langley. He's exiting the pits now. I'm curious to see he's clear of the 00. That was what I was worried about, because the 00 was the first one to pit, and I was curious if he was going to jump the 20 doing that, but it doesn't look like he has. So right now, I'm curious to see where Nomina cycles out in all of this, because that was an extra lap on those old tires, and an extra slow lap at that.
Yeah, a lot of speed got scrubbed off because of what happened there trying to go into the pits, and when you have something like that, that just really messes your day. I would not be surprised if by the time this all cycles out, he's not in the top 10 anymore, unfortunately.
probably not, but coming out of turn 4 now to complete lap 44, it should be Langley cycling back to the lead of this race. Well, he will next time by. There is Nomina leaving the pit lane, and look, they're already starting to pass him. This is going to be a big detriment to the 62's race.
And I'm looking here, and I'm seeing a bunch of different players here that have been in this for a while, but I noticed that when this all cycles out, it looks like Will Parrish might end up finding himself in 4th place. That's huge for him.
And this is huge for Nomina as well, but not in a good way. He has lost so many positions on the racetrack. He's probably gonna cycle from the lead of this race to about 21st, all because of that one pit stop blunder. That wasn't really his own blunder, as you see Earl Sear making a return trip to pit road. That's unfortunate for the 3 team. That's going to knock him down the order quite a lot. But as the things stand right now, Langley still has the lead by about a second over the likes of Claire and Arnold.
And I just noticed this. We have somebody who's trying to go do a last 2, maybe not quite first challenge. I see the 23 there in 6th place there, Hayes Green.
That is an incredible performance from Hayes Green. Granted, a lot of it was from strategy, but he was in the top 20 well before that happened. So very big kudos to that Project Horizon Racing number 23 team. And we know Hayes Green's going to Spa next year. That is going to be a pretty interesting combination to watch next year, because I think we're going to see Hayes Green get some good equipment under him for the first time in his career.
Yeah, Spa's been pretty good in the Nitro series, and they've been pretty good overall. It's just things haven't always played in their favor, but what team hasn't had their woes this year?
Here's Hayes Green right now. He's actually trying to fend off his teammate for next year, Cameron Brennan, in the 86. That's for 6th position. Going further back, AJ Zhao's fought his way back to the top 20. That's a good thing to see for him. But and you mentioned Will Parrish up into the 4th position. He's under pressure from Elijah Ironhouse for that spot right now. But still a very good run for a team and driver that have yet to crack the top 10 this season.
Yeah, we're looking at the fastest laps there, and looking at the rest things here. You see Alexa Luchon trying to salvage a top 10 out of this, because if she could just finish where she started, that'd be great for the playoffs, given how things have gone for her opponents. But looking back at others like Ryan Arnold here, he's trying to make Langley sweat here.
That he is, because he's closing the gap by a decent margin, and Ryan Arnold knows that a win is worth 5 more points than 2nd place is. And because he knows that from winning last week at Daytona, he's trying to go back-to-back for series wins, is this 01 of Arnold. But he's going to have to do it the hard way. He's going to have to pass this 44 to lap it, and then he's going to have to try and pass that 20, which is very much easier said than done.
And the thing is, if he keeps struggling behind Fox, he's gonna have that 0-0 practically already in his mirror. Not quite up to him yet, but if he can't get by Fox, he may be having to settle for 3rd if the 0-0 can get by him. But we'll see. They're trying to get by the 44.
And they should be able to get by the 44 down this straightaway, or maybe on the next one, because they're just a little bit off pace down the straights compared to everyone else. And sure enough, they are through, past Tegan Fox, and now the 01 and the 0-0 can start trying to work together for a little bit. Probably not for the rest of the race, but they're going to try and work together for a little to try and catch this 20 to make it a 3-car race for the win.
You said work together? I don't think Claire wants to work together.
Well, here's the thing. They may be trying to slingshot the 01 around the outside of the racetrack to try and catch the 20. Because, look, Arnold has just gained a 1/10 of a second doing that.
All right, there might be some strategy play here, but I know that Claire is not worried about the playoffs and would prefer to be up there challenging Langley for the lead, and Langley himself not really caring about the playoffs, just going for that win, because, that would be huge. But, he's got to sweat a little bit here, as we're getting down to about 15 to go.
It's going to be fun to watch for the remainder of this race. The gap's down to 0.3 of a second now between Langley and the two chasers. As you see, Ironhouse has also gotten past Will Parrish to move himself up into 4th position. But the remainder of the top 10, it's still a beehive back there. Smith, O'Quinn, Green, Brennan, Johnson, they're all back there fighting for those final few top 10 places.
And as we see here, the gap hasn't narrowed. It actually grew a little bit on that lap. So I think the tires are wearing in just enough that we could see things really be a matter of who can do things the best, who can work the draft the best with their opponents ahead and behind them. That's what I'm looking at here with the 2001 and 00.
Well, we're taking a look further back. AJ Zhou's found his way further up the field. He's just making those steady gains bit by bit, and that's probably the best he's going to be able to do is steady gains for the rest of the race, because we have 13 laps to go right now, and the top three separated by half a second. I don't think Ironhouse and Parrish are going to be in any real contention for this win, but if these three get closer together, man, that's going to be a fun race to the end.
Now, we've already seen Claire try to deal with Arnold, but I think, or make him a little bit of a move to try to either go against or help. I don't know for sure. We're not listening to radios, but this, you see that there's moves again. That it's a matter of how this affects the catching of the 20 here. They're starting to catch despite being kind of side by side. So maybe they found something here.
Maybe they have, because they're doing it again down the front straightaway to try and catch this 20 car, as we now have 11 laps to go in this race. Andrew Langley knows he's close to his first career win. Aiden Clare looking for his second career win, his second of the season. Ryan Arnold looking for his second in a row. So everybody's looking for something different here in these closing stages, but I'd be very surprised if they didn't also catch Anthony McClure and lap him before the end of this race.
And something else that Arnold's looking for is an advantage going into the next race, because if he could get by this 20 and win, not only would that make him and team owner Devin Fair happy campers, but it would also put them in a better position coming out of this thing in the playoff standings, as he is right on the 20 now and trying to go for the lead.
Yeah, but he's making that move to the inside. I don't know if that's going to work that well for him, and sure enough,
they're keeping the outside behind him.
Yeah, Langley's starting to pull up a gap on him once again, but they don't need to catch him anymore. They have caught him. Now it's just a matter of finding a way past in these final 9 laps.
And you know that Langley is going to make these guys work for it. If one of them beats him, they'll have fought and earned it. And if he can get the win, these two will have kept him honest in these final laps. But
look at this.
Regardless, one of these three is going to earn it.
Claire down the inside out of 4. He's going to nose out Langley for the lead on this lap, I would assume. Look how close they are at the line.
And this is going to be big for either of these two right here. I mean, you already mentioned Claire's got his first career victory knocked out of the park, but if Langley could hang on to it, that'd be great. But Game Breaker hasn't had the greatest of seasons across the one-up competitions. But so they would be very happy to see that 00 in victory lane. But Langley held on for now.
7 to go. Things starting to get interesting out front. The gap between the leaders only 0.3 of a second between all three of them, but they're still catching Anthony McClure. I think they're going to get to that 54 within the next maybe 3 or 4 laps.
And we're reaching that territory where, as we've talked about, as the laps wind down, we're already in the territory where a caution would mean a single file restart, but we're getting pretty much just about to that point where a caution would be a race ender here. And I know Langley would love to be able to fight, would be able to show that he earned this one, but I don't think he'd be too upset if it ended up being secured by just pacing around under the caution flag.
Well, I'm sure he'd love to cross the finish line at full speed, but he's coming to 5 laps to go this time, and I'm sure McMillen's taught him a lot about how to win these races. McMillen's won them in all 3 series, remember. But Langley, this would be his first time in victory lane in anything if he's able to pull it off here today. 5 laps to go. This is going to be really tight to the finish.
And he's excuse me, he's got two Toyotas here from two different organizations trying to figure out a way past him. One of them tried, almost did. As a matter of fact, it's the car that he passed for the lead earlier in this race.
But they're look at how close they are out of turn 4 to complete the lap. 4 to go this time, and they're still catching that 54. I think they're going to catch him probably around 2 to go, maybe even the final lap.
And that could really throw a wrench into this, because if these drivers who are now running in a little 3-pack here, like they're at Daytona again, could catch him at just the wrong spot, it could be bad for 1 or 2 or all of them. Who knows?
Yeah, it all depends on where they catch him and when they catch him. That's going to decide probably the outcome of this race. Arnold's dropped back a little bit now. I don't know if you've noticed with 3 laps to go. This could be a battle between the 20 and the 00 now for this race win. They got 2.5 laps to go, and we still don't know which of these 3 is going to win it.
And we don't know what the 54 is going to factor in, how that's going to factor in when they catch him. But coming to 2 to go, it is definitely looking like Langley versus Claire on this one. These are 2 that, on a regular basis at this time, you would not expect, as Claire goes for the lead once again.
Down into turn 1, he makes a move to the inside, but look at Ryan Arnold. He's found his way back into the conversation. Claire's misstep allows Arnold to take second position back. Now he's in position to challenge Andrew Langley as they come to the white flag this time.
And Langley has got to be sweating, because he knows that driver right there is one of the best in the series at this time, and besides his teammate. And now they are catching that 54. Oh, this is going to be tight.
They're side by side behind him for 1 and 2 for the final time. Arnold to the inside of Langley. Now McClure pulls up in front of the 20. That allows Arnold and Claire to move past him. This could be what keeps Langley from winning this race. But now, down into 3 and 4 for the final time. Langley fights back out of 4. Final time. It's going to be a drag race between these two. Push. Across the line, drag race between these two. It will be Langley holding on.
Oh my goodness. I know Langley was expecting to fight for it, but I do not believe he anticipated having to practically literally push a lapped car to get that one.
First career win for Andrew Langley, and that's a candidate in my opinion for finish of the year, because what a race that was between him, Arnold, and Claire at the very end of that race. That's going to be one we're going to be talking about for a while, and we said it at the top of the show. Would it be a playoff driver winning today, or would it be a spoiler not in the playoffs? And it turns out it was very much the latter. Langley with his first career win.
And looking at here, Arnold, the top playoff contender, finishing in second.
Will Parrish with his first career top 10, though.
And that's going to be something that teams can hold their heads high on. And Hayes Green held on to the top 10. You know that's going to be something to celebrate after where he started.
Absolutely. That is going to be something they're going to hang on to for a long time. But from James Ellison and from myself as well, thanks for joining us for an epic race at Chicagoland Speedway. We'll see you again next time out for the Nitro National Series at Kansas Speedway, where the playoffs continue out in the middle of the U.S. But until we see you from Kansas, so long from Chicagoland. A big congratulations to Andrew Langley. He worked for it the hard way, and he is rewarded with his first Nitro National Series win.